the next day, like we ended up finding out like we had to do like 4 90-mile days in a row to be able to get there, and nobody really wanted to do that, but Chris didn't want to have to take a train home, you know. He wanted to finish this thing out.
So we were trying to make up some time the next day because we were already behind schedule. But we were leaving Big Sur, and we decided that was going to be our first big day, was riding 90-some miles out of Big Sur. And we knew we could do it if we got up early.
Yeah, it was the first day we got up at 5. We had made the mistake before of getting up and going to breakfast. So, assuming that we could make it and that we weren't going to have some sort of obstacle that was going to prevent us from making it, and not allotting the time to do that.
It was still pitch black outside. We're running around through the woods, through all the tents with our flashlights just to warm up. It was pretty cold.
We finally leave about like 7 or so, maybe a little after 7, and we hit the road like through Big Sur. This is the Big Sur day, and we're planning on riding like 95 miles.
Mentally, I'm dealing with pain throughout the day. I think I kind of started slowing down at that point when it comes to riding. Everybody else was moving pretty quick.
It was kind of scary because there was windy roads, like no shoulder at all. Luckily we had blinkers that we put on our back so people could see a blinking light through the fog, because our vision was very limited going down the hill. It's like,
when we started bombing the hills, when we were getting up to 1,000 feet, we're ripping through this fucking fog, and I didn't have any problem saying, I don't know if anyone else did, but I know if I was in a car, I'd be having problems singing. And you cannot, there's not a shoulder enough to speak of, so you get into the lane.
Yeah, so we rode out of there. Within a few hours, the fog thinned a little bit, and especially with the lower elevation, but the whole way out of Big Sur, it was just climb a hill, bomb a hill, climb a hill, bomb a hill. And you got pretty used to the climbs pretty quick, and I got to enjoy them actually. And once you got to the top, you just had the most magnificent view, south and north, and just didn't even look like, you know, California or America. It's just these green rolling cliffs, and you could see so far, and just the blue ocean and stuff.
it was the prettiest, most dangerous, but best views. We were over 1,000 feet high, with cliffs on the side of us. We got to go under the really neat bridge that was built. She got footage of that.
Yeah.
My girlfriend Taylor, one of her clients' son Anthony, he has rode the same ride that we rode like 7 or 8 times. He's rode down to Baja, but he had taken a photo and sent it to me before we'd done the ride, because I was asking him what I need to bring and just trying to prepare for the ride. And he had sent a photo of him on his bike, all packed up in front of that bridge, and so we just kind of did the same thing to have the photo.
You'd basically like climb for an hour and a half, and then descend in like less than 5 minutes and go like 30-40 miles an hour.
Yeah, we went up like 5 big hills. So we went, after the first 3, we didn't expect those last 2. We were like going over, and should be done out of it. And then we see another one, and we're like, okay, maybe the first one wasn't a big hill, the 2-mile climb. And then we're like, maybe that last one, that probably wasn't considered a big hill. So we're 1 big hill down, and we have 2 more huge ones.
We climb up these hills and go down the hill faster than the cars were going. And it's like, it's not just a hill, it's like you're waving, you know, going, like you're hitting like crazy sharp turns, and then And it was kind of cool because every single hill would end with like this really sick, like super long drawn out cutback, and it would push you right back into the next hill.
And that was honestly the first time that I even thought of the risk of falling while bombing a hill like that. And I was like, holy shit, that would be so bad if I just fell. Like, I could very likely die. Like, that would have been terrible, you know? I was actually pretty relieved when we got to the top of the last hill we had to climb, because you could see the rest of the coast down the south, and you're like, oh, we're already done, big sir. Like, we're gonna bomb this hill, and it's all downhill from here, and we're leaving, and you can see the landscape that we were going into, and everybody was warning us how bad it was and stuff, and I was like, that was it? Like, I was like, yeah, you know, I don't know, I guess I expected a lot more. And
from there we rode and it started flattening out, and you know, you have less of that stark mountain change from ocean, and you kind of roll towards Hearst Castle, which is what I would consider the low end of the Big Sur area.
You know, we were halfway through the day at that point, and I was, you know, all warmed up, and as long as I got food and water, I can just keep going. I just felt great, and I was excited.
We're really feeling it. My feet are bruised from the pedals, and my shin was swollen up on my left side, I think because, I don't know, I had shin splints. It's real crunchy. Still is.
The other thing was, again, just the pain in general now was compounding throughout, especially on the fucking taint, because you're sitting on the seat a lot and there's movement and rub. I have a fucking vein that goes down my taint. I think most people do. I don't think Dan does, because like day 7, Dan was intentionally getting pounded on the fucking taint. There's no way I could have handled it. He was like going over fucking speed bumps and shit on purpose, or rumble strips. Like, I couldn't fucking breathe without my taint hurting, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm not gonna speak as an expert on Dan's taint or anything, but
That was nice because we knew since it flattened out, we were going to be able to pick up a lot of miles. And we did.
The first stop we took after that is there's this little beach that had elephant seals laying all over the coastline and stuff. So there's a parking lot to pull off into and stuff.
Elephant Seal Beach, I believe it's called, or Cove or something, which is fucking awesome. There's always awesome elephant seals.
Played with the squirrels a little bit. The squirrels were trying to eat our food, and you kept on giving them these little like almonds or nuts or whatever they were, and they were all coming, like reaching through the fence super hard, like leaning into it, like grabbing it.
Then after that, we ate in this town called Cambria.
And there's just this long strip, just little mom and pop shops, and there's a gas station and stuff, and we stopped at a place that sold everything. It was like pizza, burgers, tacos, burritos, cinnamon rolls, all that kind of stuff, and just ordered a big pizza for all of us.
That's when I first started feeling homeless. If you don't shower for a couple days on a bike ride, and you go into places, you kind of feel like a homeless person who exercises a lot.
The dirtier we get, the less we cared about, well, at least less I cared about what I did or what anyone accepted.
Weston came up on 3 silver dimes. Make sure you ask Weston about those silver dimes when you interview him.
So we just hear him go up and go, yeah, can I get 10 dimes for this dollar? And he's like, what the fuck is going on?
And I ended up getting a dime back in my change that was a silver dime. So then I was like, I went back, I was like, man, maybe there's more in that drawer. So I asked for 10 dimes for $1, and then I got like a few more silver dimes in it. And Chris and Dan and Richie were like, how do you even think of that? I'm like, well, I like coins a lot, so.
They had a drought there, which is something that's been going on in California this year. Bad drought. This particular town was hit pretty hard by it. So we couldn't get water ready to buy it and pay for water. No big deal. It was like 35 cents, and Rich and I both filled up our Camelbacks.
We skated, there's this bowl that I went to earlier in the month with my friend Eric, and I was like, let's stop there and try to skate. Maybe someone will have a board. And this kid who I met before, he was up there and let us skate his board. He rode like a 9-inch board, so Richie was really hyped on it.
And it's so sick. It's this like wooden bowl that's like built perfect, dude. And it's just like right on the beach. Oh, it's so beautiful, dude. And there happened to be a couple dudes with boards, so they like let us skate.
So it felt good because I was itching so bad to skate. Like I'd be riding, like, looking at everything. Man, this would be a fun hill to ride down on my skateboard. Well, then that would be fun to skate. At that point, I was really itching to skate, so it was a much needed stop in Cayucas.
We were about 10 miles from our destination, which is Morro Bay. We rolled in there on the highway. I think it was the first time we were really riding on like freeway style highway, which is gnarly as fuck.
So we got in there pretty late, actually, I felt. At least it felt late. It was a long day of riding. We got our 90 miles though, and was excited to be there at our destination. And
we got off and took the main street up, which was more hills and things. Got to Morro Bay campsite, which was like a good 3 or 4 miles from civilization. Really beautiful. It was probably the most pissed on golf course in all of the world. Because there's a hike and bike campsite right next to a golf course.
we started a little fire just with sticks and bark that was laying on the ground. Met a guy doing a little bike tour who had a prosthetic leg, and he was pretty rad. He came over and kicked it with us for a while.
Patrick, one-legged guy riding, yoga instructor, a little loopy, but he was cool.
He rode bicycles and motorcycles before he lost his leg, which he lost according to him, he lost it in a drinking and driving by being hit by a drunk driver while he was on his motorcycle. Rich went and grabbed us some coffee, which was fucking awesome. I was done. At each one of these days, I was done riding, just physically and mentally exhausted, done riding.
So I go in and gets a couple coffees, and the dude who's running the cash register, it's this old guy. He's like, "Hey, are you guys part of that bike ride that came in earlier?" And I'm like, "No way, there's a bike ride that came in through here." He's like, "Yeah, dude, I think it's like the AIDS ride or something." And this dude was telling me like, "Yeah, they came through here like earlier today. I think they went and stayed in like Santa Barbara or something." I'm like, "No way." So we looked it up, and it ended up that our next stop, which is Lompoc, was gonna be their next stop. We're like, "Sick, dude, we're just gonna like meet up with these dudes."
So I had got dollar store lighters, and we got wood for the fire, and I lit it, and like the whole lighter catches on fire, and I start hearing a hiss, so I like toss it in the fire pit where we were trying to start a fire, and it ends up exploding. But when it exploded, it just started the fire what we were trying to start, so it worked out. But it's kind of crazy that the lighter exploded.
I was exhausted that night. Ate some soup, warm soup from the fire, some other snacks and stuff.
I was kind of stoked because we all got to, we had this canned food, and we got to eat our canned food for dinner, and it was delicious. Like, even though I bought this like really spicy stuff, so it was delicious, but it like kept my mouth burning all night, so that kind of sucked.
Lactic acid is a thing. We started calling it galactic acid, and then referring to what was occurring in the legs as galactic battles. Because I don't know how these guys were feeling, but at night for me, like I get off the bike and lay down, and everything would stretch. But once everything was cool and cooled down, I know personally at night, it just felt like a galactic battle was occurring inside of my legs.
It was a blast, dude. Big Sur was the most breathtaking like place I've ever experienced on a bike, dude. Just like waves crashing all the way at the bottom, and then like rocky mountains like right next to you on the left, dude. And we just saw this just for like 6 hours of our bike ride that day, and
It's crazy that that's in California, you know, it's so beautiful.